Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's time for our weekly mod collection demo shop recap. I'm sorry guys, I let you down. I got caught sleeping this week. I wasn't here when the mod collection updated. I was 11 minutes late, so this is all I got to see. 6 guitars and 2 leftovers, surprisingly. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the yellow racing stripe either, but for that to last a whole week in the mod collection is surprising. But don't worry, I dug through the sold section and tried to find as many of them as I could. So the coolest series this week were 3 SG standards that were done up in some interesting pickguard designs. But let's start with my favorite one. Check this thing out. It's almost like they were trying to channel 34 burst. Now, if you need to learn more about that finish, check out my ES235 review. It's a finish that's an acquired taste, but this time, instead of being a small little burst right here, they've got it just on the pickguard. And I've got to say, at $1,800, I was tempted. Because not only did they give the pickguard a paint job, they swapped it all out to gold hardware. We've got that sweet TP6 tailpiece there. Looks like a special aged knob. It would have been nice if they would have gave the back a little shot of 34 burst, but no luck there. But not surprisingly, this one only lasted 15 minutes in the shop. The other one, they gave the rose gold treatment. So you have the silver TP6 tailpiece with the gold studs, you've got the silver bridge with the gold posts. It looks like they even went as far as doing the pickup pole pieces in gold, whereas the rest of it is silver. Add that on top of a pickguard that appears to have some sort of a light silver burst done to it, like it's got a gray border and then it turns slightly more white in the center. And those look like custom shop knobs on there, that's nice. And they even went as far as giving it a white truss rod cover to kind of match what they did here. And then along a similar vein, they did this. I don't know about you guys, but I see some really spooky, scary skeletons in here. But this one did not get the TP6 tailpiece. They must not have had any black ones available. And then they gave them Dirty Fingers pickups with the witch hat knobs. Surprisingly, at the time of recording, this one's still available. So that was kind of a fun mini-series. They weren't numbered or anything like those Flying V's or the Racing Stripe Customs. But now let's talk about this one. Les Paul Standard 50's Gilded Trans Tech Finish. Okay, so I think we need to do a little bit of explaining what that even means. So gilded means covered thinly with gold leaf or gold paint. It could also mean wealthy and privileged. But then trans typically means translucent, so you can see through it, and then tech. I'm not really too sure. So if somebody said Gilded Trans Tech to me, this is what I would envision. Like a PCB circuit design printed on top of this Les Paul. And then all the gold wire traces would actually be like a metallic finish. And then maybe you could see through the green board to have like some wood grain. But what we got is almost like a techno pink, I want to say. Is that what they were trying to go for here? But I'm betting this is one of those ones that looks way better in person because the whole gilded thing makes me think that maybe at certain angles you'll see some gold shine through and this trans pink or purple whatnot finish is just hiding it and it didn't get portrayed very good in this angle. Because other than that, we just got uncovered pickups, nothing too incredibly special. The back is still the natural color. But okay, we do have a close-up here. Yes, we can see the gold here, and now you can kind of see that transparentness of this finish. All right, maybe that would look way better in person. It wouldn't have surprised me if this started life as a gold top and they just sprayed some transparent paint on it. Next up, we have Satin Globe. So there's a few different ways you could take this one. You either have blue for like the ocean on the globe, or you can make it grape colored for globe grapes. And it appears they did both. So purple pickup rings and blue water type finish. Now I thought maybe they did like a swirl paint job here, but to me that just looks like fantastic wood grain that makes this example interesting. Looks like the headstock has an extra dark Gibson logo. And then being a tribute, it naturally has a maple neck. Next we had this Les Paul Special in Burnout Blue. If you happen to be the guy who bought this, I had somebody contact me looking for this guitar. So if you're looking to flip it, he might be interested depending on what your price is. Just contact me. But it's basically just a regular Les Paul Special done up in a striking blue finish for not that much of a premium. And we no longer have a pickguard on it. I honestly think it would look better with a pickguard though. And then of course, the week I'm not here, another 7-string finally shows up. Now granted, at $2,800, the way this particular one looked, I probably would have passed on it anyways, because I wanted an obnoxiously beautiful flame top one. But yeah, 7-string Les Pauls did exist. And this is the Les Paul Classic variation. Yeah, they're a little bit goofy looking up here, but yes, they are real. Then another one I found while digging was 335 in good gray. We've seen good gray about 2 or 3 other times in this shop, so to see it done up on one of these 335 studio-like guitars, it was kind of interesting. So it appears the modifications they did here is they added a neck pickup, and then we have an extra toggle switch here. So I'm curious if it's like on off for each pickup, or if one of them is your pickup selector, and then this might be like a coil split switch. Because usually this model looks something similar to this. Now what you're seeing on the screen is the 339 version, but there was a bigger body 335 too. And it would normally have a master volume, master tone with one Dirty Fingers bridge pickup. But this one, they changed it up a bit. I gotta read the description here. Good gray, added neck pickup, we got that. 3-way pickup selector switch and 3-way on-off tone switch. Huh. So does that mean tone all the way on, tone all the way off, and then like a halfway position? I do appreciate the fact that they went full on and did the entire refinish here. Since you have easy access to that control plate, you could continue to modify this if you didn't like that setup. But now check this one out, Chill BlüPearl. Basically what they did is they took a blue paint and just sprayed over the entire thing, including the headstock and the logo up here. So kind of like a Widow, but not exactly. But once again, it's a full on refinish, all blue here. And here's a close-up look at that headstock. So normally Widows, they don't have the entire matching headstock, it's just the logos. They still spray them over like this, but generally you can't see the color. So they purposefully wanted you to see the blue on this one. It's pretty cool if you like a light blue color, but this started life as one of those 70s Explorers. And then looking through the archives, I found this ES345 in dark purple satin. I don't remember reviewing this one before, so it might have been from this week, but I could also be wrong. But $3,000 was a steal for this. Dark purple satin on a 345, a lefty on top of all that. That was a great deal for a southpaw player. Because impressively enough, they even did the back. That looks great. And oh wow, it might even have the matching headstock. I can see some purple shining through there. That was a great find. Even I would have been tempted to buy that, despite not necessarily being able to play it. So that wraps things up here. Let's check out the Netherlands and France exclusive European demo shop. This week, honestly, I only saw like a handful of new guitars because I remember talking about these other ones last week. But there were a few nice acoustics. So this one, including everything, about $3,200. It's a Hummingbird. I just like the Hummingbird pickguard design. That's nice. But why I wanted to share this one is that's got a nice back to it. Like a lot of Hummingbirds will have a back like this, but that one with that really dark cherry stain looks like maybe a little bit of figuring in the neck, if not just a whole bunch of wood grain. It was just a nice example. Kind of a similar story on this J-200. It's about $4,100, everything all in. But the back really surprised me on this one. Perfect book match. You've got the eye here, you got the eye there, and all this just comes together to create like a cave-like structure. It's really cool. I like that back. Despite a lot of J-200s like being heavily figured and flamed, sometimes it's nice to have something a little bit different. And I really like how yellow the binding is on that thing. And lastly, we had this 335, $2,500 all in. I was kind of perplexed by this one because 335s, they're supposed to have neck binding, and you can find dot reissues as well as block reissues, but this one doesn't have the binding on the neck. So it's like, whoa, that could be interesting for somebody who does not like bound instruments. Seems to be pretty beat up, so I'm not quite sure if it's really worth paying the price that they want, but hey, it is there if you need it, and you have a shipping location in the Netherlands or France. I'd say the worst thing about the condition of this one is it had not been properly stored, so this happens when a guitar starts to dry out. But now let's jump back over stateside. There were a couple of golden gooses, well, I don't know if I'd really call them golden gooses, but interesting guitars this week. And let's start with my two favorite ones. So this is a custom shop SG standard reissue? Are they sure about that? Pretty sure this is an SG special Gibson. Unless we've had some really crazy modifications here. So no longer do we have any type of a neck tenon cover here. It's a weird, strange custom pickguard in the tortoiseshell design. We've got those ambered over knobs that look pretty alright with the cream finish, but they have those toaster pastry P90 pickups in here, which are just regular P90s except for they have mini humbucker surrounds on them. It's truly the weird pickguard that makes this thing look so different. Although I wish this pickguard would come at a bit more of an angle right here to match the horn. But looking at the rest, yeah, I think somebody messed up here. That's definitely a custom shop special. But whoa, what is that? SGSPW? SG Special White? I wonder, was this like a prototype or something? Let's dig into that. Did the custom shop actually do this and not the mod collection? Or are they saying it's a custom shop that's been modified? So I don't see anything about the custom shop doing it. There's definitely a story behind this one, but all things considered, I think the price was fair. But my absolute favorite one this week is this weird doofy thing. Look at that. Standard 50s in a tobacco sunburst finish with a humbucker in the neck and 2 mini humbuckers in the bridge. What? What are you guys doing in the demo shop? Are you okay? Like, I can't imagine many people would actually want that setup. But as a guy that just appreciates Gibson guitars in general, I like it because it's doofy, it's weird, and it would sound interesting. Because there's middle pickups on guitars, right? But generally they're a little bit scooted up. This one's just butted right here, and they probably could have got away with a 4th mini humbucker here. Take a look at that. Doesn't that look great? But I think they left that space there so you had an area to strum if you're one of those guys that can't strum over a pickup. But what's even better is this has a nice top. Like, it's not the most heavily figured top in the world, but you can see that this would definitely dance around at certain lighting angles, and it's got flame pretty much all over, and you've got good wood grain underneath. Looks like they played with our truss rod cover a bit, but other than that, everything's looking just about stock. So what did this start life as? Initially, I was kind of thinking, okay, was it one of the Deluxe? But the Deluxe does not come in a tobacco flamed finish at this point in time. So the true reasoning behind why this mini humbucker is right here instead of like in a traditional mini position is it initially had a humbucker that probably went to about like what, right here or so. So they probably just extended the route and then used that to cover that hole, and then had to custom cut a pickguard. I think this would have been a fun one to review, like if I was low on guitars to review, but I've got a whole pile of them. But to be honest with you guys, I don't even pay attention to the demo shop because they're not consistent with their upload time, and I've got more important things to do than sit around and refresh pages. So congratulations, whoever picked that one up. That's an oddity. At the time of recording, there's a 356 available. You don't see these things too often, and it's got a nice top. It's a smaller F-Hold styled instrument, custom attributes, pretty fancy. But speaking of the 70s gold tops, take a look at this thing. At first I was like, why? Mini humbucker in the bridge, P90 with a black cover in the neck. All right. So then I started to flip through these photos a little bit more, and then when I got to this one, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because the mismatch here was like, not so much. But then when you get to the headstock, it's like, oh, okay, kind of like Schenker vibes here. Half and half. You got gold/cream over here, black over there. They even blacked out the nut and washer over here and left them chrome over there. But then if you go back to the top, you're going to notice black switch tip, cream washer, black knobs, cream knobs in quotations. So I started to appreciate all the symmetry that they got going on. But then, come on, demo shop. The one time where mismatching the backplates would have made complete sense. Why is this not black? Because it would have completed the theme that they had going on here. They could have even did it the opposite for like a yin-yang type thing. But no, they let me down. So close on this one, so close. But thankfully, that's really easy to do yourself. And this one is available at the time of recording. There was an L00. You don't see these things in the demo shop too often. Thought I'd let you know about it. But look at that weird case. That does not look like that would fit this guitar. That looks more dreadnought in style, whereas this is a small body. So I'm not sure if that's the right case or not. And then we had another one of those Axcess customs, but this time they swapped out the pickups to have double creams in here, kind of giving you Ace Frehley vibes, but in a thinner body style Les Paul. I'm really surprised they didn't put the third pickup in there. That would have been really cool. But now let's dive into the other ones that have sold. Here's another Axcess custom in what they call DC Rust Finish, and it was an exclusive. We've got some interesting wood grain under here, but I'm not really sure why they called this an exclusive paint job. Like, we've seen rust before as a finish. Check out my SG Elegant video. I love the back on that thing. I still have that guitar if anybody's interested. But then we look to this one. It's that maple top that kind of gives it a lighter appearance on this particular guitar, but again, love the flame and grain patterns on this thing. And then when you swap over to the back, you kind of got that same rust going on, but why is it called DC Rust? I don't quite fully understand that. Because this is not a DC guitar, so we can't say it was coming from that, but that sold pretty quickly at $4,000. I mean, it's pretty easy to see why. This 50 standard, I just thought had an interesting top. Almost perfect flame right here, and then unique flame in this piece. There was a Studio Shred that got the high performance style knobs put on it. I believe these were an AMS exclusive, something like that. But I found the Pearloid trem cover to be a little out of character for this particular guitar. Like, that seems like a happier guitar, whereas Shred makes me think evil, heavy, chug, chug, chug guitar. So to cap off your Floyd Rose with one of those, that was a little weird for me. This SG standard bass was interesting because it had 0 pick guards put on it. And for some reason they put a Future truss rod cover on them, which came from the Les Paul Future. I think there was an SG Future as well. If I remember Gibson's take on that, it was their tribute to what the future of guitars would be. And the future saw Steinberger tuners. But if you've watched the video this far, I've got a nice treat for you. Take a look at this, Manhattan Midnight Les Paul Studio. We unboxed one of these, a good couple of unboxing episodes ago, where we happened to get lucky and get one that had a flame top. And before that, I've always poked fun at this finish, calling it the bald-headed guy's guitar, because, you know, it's bald up top, you got your sideburns. And I do want to clarify that. I mean that with the biggest respect possible. I had a viewer of the show message me and said that made him sad. No, I mean that in like, hey, you're pretty cool, man. Look at this guitar. It's perfect for you. So this one, they've got that whole Manhattan Midnight finish going on. It just has the black sideburns, but now they've blacked out the hardware. You've got the black knobs, but now we have 3 pickups. Who on earth needs not 1, not 2, but 3 dirty fingers pickups in a guitar? That is ridiculous and biting. That just, whew, that looks great to me. I mean, you can compare it to a more traditional looking one. Generally, we don't have these pink pickup rings, but this was just another one that was offered this week, and they put these tiny knobs on it. But doesn't this one just look 10 times cooler, just because the pickups are uncovered? Congratulations, whoever got that one. It was nice. And then this was a hidden steal. Gibson Les Paul Studio Black Cherry Burst Modified. So I'm sure most people would have saw this and been like, yeah, okay, it's like a Black Cherry Burst. Like, it's not quite full on perimeter. It's not even quite a teardrop shape here. It's just kind of splattered in there. Not the best refinishing work we've seen. So you go through the rest of it, it's like, okay, yeah, Les Paul Studio specs, and then you see it. They gave it a red stinger on the back. That's really nice. That's the saving grace for this one, in my opinion. $1,000 was really fair for that. I could see that being flipped on the used market for about 15. And apparently that is a fire red pearl stinger on the back of the headstock. So that means that's gonna have a metallic nature to it. Cool. I wonder if that will have metallic nature to it. And to wrap things up, I think we have another mislabeling here. It says 355 P90, but this looks exactly like the Gibson.com exclusive 335 with their P90 format. I still kind of want to review one of these. These are nice looking guitars. P90s in a 335, yep, that sounds like a good time to me. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed this week's recap. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.